So we have a scenario where basically a 15-year-old girl has been given the contraceptive pill by a nurse or a doctor, and the dad is not happy. The dad is like, why have you given my 15-year-old child contraceptive pill without my consent? I want access to her medical records. So does the dad have any right to access the 15-year-old daughter's medical records? Well, let's look at this. So basically, the legal age to give consent for medical treatment is under the age of 16 in the UK. Also, the daughter would need to give her informed consent for her dad to have access to her medical records in the UK. So if the nurse or doctor was to release medical records to the dad without consent from the daughter or from the patient, this would be classed as a breach of confidentiality. And the only reason when this confidentiality can be breached is in under exceptional circumstances. Could it be that the daughter was maybe at risk to herself and to others? Maybe if we're talking about self-harm or suicidal or for some other reason. Another reason could be maybe the daughter did not understand the information. So they have what they call Gillick's Competence. So Gillick's Competence would mean that the child who's 15 is mature enough to understand why she's having the treatment and the consequences of having the treatment. So if that child was not Gillick competent, then that usually goes on to the parental responsibility. So usually the father, in this case, or let's assume that the father is separated from the mother, both parents have equal access to the medical records of the child. And that is unless the court states otherwise. So in summary, your daughter, age of 15, has gone to the GP or nurse and said, I want to have the contraceptive pill, could be for whatever reason, whether it's periods or sexually active. As a parent, a father or mother, and I've mentioned the father as an example, but mothers as well, you've heard that your daughter has got a contraceptive pill, you've not discussed this with your daughter, you've heard someone has just given your daughter the contraceptive pill. Understandably, you're not happy about this, you're irate, you go marching, to the doctor's office stating, why have you given my daughter the contraceptive pill without my consent? I'm the parent, I should give consent to my daughter. Unfortunately, or fortunately, however you look at it, in the UK, the legal age for consent to give medical treatment is under the age of 16, which means that a 15-year-old can actually, without letting the mom or the dad know, go and see a doctor or a nurse and say, I want a contraceptive pill, without consent from her dad or her mom. And you do not have the right to have access to your medical records unless your daughter has given you consent to have access to those records. And usually that consent will be in writing. And if the doctor or the nurse does release the information without the consent of your daughter, who is 15, that is breach of confidentiality, and the doctor or the nurse will be held legally responsible. I hope you understand this case.